Listen up, Rangers. Welcome to the Geek Chest. My name's Steve. Today's gonna be a weird sort of how-to because it's more like a review, if you will, than a how-to. Like I'll bring up how I worked on this, but I didn't really do any filming because over the course of like the month that he's been hanging out here, I've been kind of working on him on and off, and there would have been a lot of footage. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys, didn't really want to go through it all, so decided this guy I didn't film. That because a lot of it was kind of like touch and go on how I kind of wanted to go about it. And then processes from this I use for other how-tos. So now that like I've done this, I'd be more comfortable like showing you guys how to do it instead of like winging it as I'm going. Just would have made for a lot more editing, and just be honest, it's just easier to show you guys. But anyways, what this is originally a Tarbosaurus from the Mattel Jurassic World figures. That was converted into looking like the Ultimasaurus from the Chaos Effect line from way back in the day from Kenner, which this guy never actually got an official release, if I do believe correctly. So there's been quite a few customs I've seen people do. Most notably, my wife really likes the Ted Brothers style. If you guys ever check that out, I'll put a link in the description if you guys want to check out that version. But the way they did it is they actually used a bunch of different parts from other dinosaur figures and then kind of like assembled their own. I, on the other hand, decided I thought it'd be easier to actually sculpted all of this. All the extra bits. The only thing is the arms are from a 12-inch Velociraptor figure. And then same with the toe claws, but we'll get closer to that here in a second. But the rest of this is all sculpted. So if you guys have checked out our Malosaurus video, and I recommend checking that one out if you guys would like to know a little bit more about how the sculpt and like kind of see how I go about this. I guess first and foremost, we'll just start with the head, which you'll see is done with reds, there's yellows, blacks, and some lighter grays for some dry brushing over top to make the accents pop. What I did for the paint job here is everything on this is acrylic paints. It's all acrylic paints you can find at most craft stores, like the Folk Art paints, stuff like that. Like just the fairly inexpensive paints. So I use those. This is pretty much just a regular red, same with regular yellow, regular black, and then I didn't have the right gray, so I mixed like light gray with some black, and that's kind of where we got the color here. The teeth are done in a few different shades. I did ivory on the bottom, then I went over it with yellow, then went back over it again with some watered down ivory to kind of make the teeth look a little bit more like that he's been chewing on things. Like it's got some tartar buildup, if you will. You can see here for the beak is black and gray, same with the horn on the front, the horns on the top here. And then after painting it, I had to clear coat it with some matte Mod Podge that I mixed down, airbrushed it on, and then did a black wash over top to make the accents pop. But for this section here, I didn't add any black wash, so I just kind of went around, and then you'll see there's a couple of bleeding spots, but it works out for the detailing for me for the most part. But I left that alone because I wanted the yellow to be the undercolor, while this I wanted the black so you can see the scaling a little bit better. Then you'll see like there's a little bit of black around here. I definitely added some wash over top of these yellow areas. But again, wanted to give it a little bit more variety. Because the original figure had like white stripes around the eyes. So I wanted to kind of have or yellow stripes, I should say, around the eyes. I wanted to have the yellow details on this somewhere. So I decided around the little area here on the nose, or the brim of the top of the head, around the eyes, and then back here for the crest. Then we have all these little spikes, which I think last time, when I last counted, there was 105 spikes I made for this thing. Which for the spikes, the horns, they're all epoxy putty with wires underneath it to give it some added support and help hook it into the body. Same with the beak here. There's a wire here as well. So this ain't coming off, which is one thing that I might not have done if, like, say this was for myself. This is actually commission. But because this thing has to ship, I added a bunch of extra under supports so that this shouldn't break, or just in case if like some of these pop up, they have wires underneath, so it's easy to hook back on. But there's an extra wire support underneath here. And then the top of the brim here is epoxy putty. Same with this. And then this has a wire armature with aluminum foil underneath it to give it some added support. And then what I did was made little indents using a ball stylus and then sculpted each of these spikes and put them on, and then carved in the little details that you see for the grooves for the spiky bits. You can also see on the back here too, same kind of grooves, because essentially this is a really good showing of how I did the detailing. This everything here is just kind of done a little bit smaller, but just used the bladed edge of a spatula and just started sculpting all that. Same with for the more Ankylosaurus back. I decided to make it super duper spiky because since this guy was like late 90s inspired for me, I kind of wanted everything to be a little bit over exaggerated because that's just kind of how 90s was. 2 spikes. Everything has spikes. 90s, like, that's just what it was. So I gave him a crap ton. Tried to keep it fairly uniform. One thing I kind of wish I maybe would have did an extra run of spikes along the edges here. But to be fair, I kind of like this look because it gives it more of a tank feel for me. Then I kind of had free reign of how I wanted to do this. So, as you can see, the back of the head has some armor plating here for the spikes. Comes along the back of the tail region here. And then we got the giant club here on the back here, sort of akin to Ankylosaurus, just like with the rest of this. You'll notice that the armor plating here has a bit of a gap because I tried to save the gimmick here a bit, which it works. But there is a lot of friction here. So what happens is you can push this down a little bit, and then it'll hold its place to kind of keep, if you want to have him keeping his mouth closed, which wasn't really an option that was available with the other figure. It was kind of like you had to use the gimmick to keep it going. You had to hold it down to keep the mouth closed. But now, kind of holds its position. And then if you want to just have the mouth pop back open, a little bit of a little bit of love gets them to pop back out. So this way you get a little bit of options now, which I definitely think that the customer will enjoy. Same with around the arms here. Add a little bit of sculpt around here just to kind of expand the body a bit to make the arms match a little bit better. Which, popping one of these guys out, what I did was took a Dremel bit, the sandy bit, and just kind of carved out the hole big enough for me to be able to insert the arm into. Thankfully, the connecting bit is literally the same size, so just had to make it big enough for the arm to fit it, and then again I sculpted over top of it just so that it matched a little bit better. And then you still get a little bit of articulation, but nothing too crazy. But you can have the arm go down if you want. The easiest way, to be honest, if you want to pose, is you just kind of move the arms in and out, and then you can get them kind of doing what you want. This arm's not quite as forgiving, but you can get it up higher if you wanted to. Just like the crest here too, there's wires on aluminum foil in here as well. So this, I think I have 3 sections of wires, because there's around the side here, down the center, so that, again, the clay will stay affixed because the wires are running through there. Then there's a little bit of wires in this section. This is just attached because of the epoxy, and there's more wires in here than another big wire and a big ball aluminum foil that made the club here. And then each of the spikes also has wires in them going into the body here. So again, gives a little bit added support. For the stripes, or just regular black paint, didn't really do anything fancy with those, just literally painted those on. Drew them with a thin paintbrush and then just filled them in with a thicker one. Also for the back here too, you'll see that's dry brush just like the horns and the spikes on the front here. Just kind of did it throughout with all the black. But wanted to leave these stripes alone because I want them to stand out a little bit better. The base of the body is done in a gray color with the same kind of wash that was over the head here. Just did a light wash and kind of just rubbed it over top of it just to make some of the detailing stand out a little bit better. And then like a sand yellow for the undersection here to replicate, again, like the old figure. One thing I didn't do like the old figure is where it had the color variety on it, there would be like black lining going over top of it. So there'd be a separation between the colorings here with black. Same with the red, there would have been separation. I didn't think it was going to look that good, so I left it off. You'll see here for the feet, they're also done red like the figure with the black wash over top of it, and then did the plating and the claws, sort of like I do on most of the dinosaur figures we've done. For the front here, kind of making it look more bird-like. And then you have the plated section here. And then you also notice that if this is the base of a Tarbo, where the heck did the raptor claw come from? Well, what I did was, the same raptor I got the arms from, I chopped off the toes, and then chopped off the toes to the Tarbo, kind of positioned them, glued them on, and then sculpt epoxy putty around it, and then just kind of tried to match the detailing of the foot. Couldn't really do much with the raptor toe here, so you'll see where the raptor toe is. It's a little bit different, but it still kind of matches the regular toe. So it's not a big eyesore, but it's definitely there. One thing I will point out. You can see it on this toe here as well. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it. Once I got it all painted up, did a couple of spray overs with some clear Mod Podge. And then for the eyes, used some gloss Mod Podge and just kind of went over it after I painted it, which there's actually 4 different colors there on that tiny little eye, where it's a yellow for the base, and then did a red circle, a smaller black circle, and then did a little bit of white for a shine. Then glossed over top of it, same with the inside of the mouth. Used a pink, and then went over it with a little bit of a pink and red mixture, and then wiped it down with some Mod Podge to give it a little bit of shine here, because mouth's going to be wet, needs to be glossy. I think that covers everything. Overall, really happy with it. I like the exaggerated features. One thing I know my wife pointed out is maybe having the crest here back farther, which is definitely something that was like it was on the figure. But again, trying to keep this like 90s style, I want it to be like flaring and in your face. And I think that definitely does the trick. Oh, also I forgot to mention, his rotation gimmick still works too. I wouldn't do it too much because I still would worry about the paint rubbing off back here. Because I got a lot of clear on it, but still a thing that could happen. But he's got a little bit to play with him. But let me know in the comment section below. I know my wife wants me to make one of these for her too. So that might be a thing at some point. I know she wants it more like the Frankenstein monster, if you will, of using a bunch of different parts. Than just sculpting in the rest of the detailing. So that might be another version I do on here as well. Then I might do this again. Because, to be honest, I really like the way this turned out. Kind of sad he has to go, but he's paid for, so he's going bye-byes. But anyways, again, let me know in the comment section below. And help us defeat those kaijus by hitting that like button, subscribe to Chroma Ranger today. We also got Instagram, Patreon, Pinterest, Facebook. Guys like to keep up to date with channel donate. We greatly appreciate it. We also still got some more customs coming out here in the near future. Got some more Godzilla ones. There's one I'm trying to get set up for Halloween with a shark. So that'll be interesting. And maybe trying some new stuff here in the future as well. But see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.